Hi everybody, welcome to Navigating for Success, making a success out of your life. My name is Moss Jackson, this is Becky Scott, my colleague.
And we're your Navigating for Success coaches. We're going to spend a little time talking about empathy.
Empathy.
I love it. This is my favorite success factor.
Isn't it? I can see you just beaming.
Yeah.
You know? It's funny because when you use the word empathy, the first thing that occurred to me was picturing somebody walking in someone else's moccasins. I don't know if I ever heard that, but putting yourself in the other person's shoes, is that what we're talking about here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
When you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you give yourself additional information that you wouldn't already have. For instance, if you're making a decision and you just are working from what's in your mind versus the person that you're working with, you don't get the added benefit of their information.
Yeah. You know, if you have a difference of opinion with another person, very frequently we get into who's right, who's wrong. That is not empathy. That's called a power struggle. Empathy is taking the time to say, let me understand where you're coming from. Let me understand your point of view. You know, I think you have some feelings about this. Let me make sure I'm following you. That would be an example of how a person could behave to show the other person. Now, by the way, if a person were doing that, if I were doing that with you, we had a difference of opinion, how would my tone, my posture, my saying to you, I'm interested in what you have to say, how would that help in our negotiation?
Just the way you are right now, being very open.
Okay.
Versus, so what's your opinion, Moss?
Oh yeah, like you're really interested in my opinion.
You're really interested.
Yeah.
That really turns you off, and you, as a person gathering information, loses information from the other person. So empathy is a very, very important success factor, to learn how to use that to you, to your advantage.
Yeah, so empathy is really being attuned to what the other person is saying and feeling. Well, so Becky, around empathy, do you have a story that you can share with us?
Actually, I have a great story. I have a client whose daughter did not want to go to school. The first grader hid under her bed. She was so terrified of going to school one day. And Mom, instead of chastising her and saying, come on, we're late, I gotta get to work, we gotta get going, said, wow, I'd like to come under the bed and share that story with you. And she actually crawled under the bed with her daughter. They spent 30 minutes under there talking about how the daughter felt. The mom was really getting in her daughter's shoes and clearly understood what the daughter was going through. After about 30 minutes under the bed, the daughter was willing to come out and went to school. They uncovered the concerns the daughter had, and she hasn't had trouble going to school since then. And this happens to be a young person with learning issues. So there's some real challenges in the school day for her. And yet that one empathic time with her mom underneath the bed took care of everything. The mom got it more information, and the daughter lost her fear. It was really a beautiful story of how empathy can help everybody.
So the tip there is?
To be very clear about listening to the other person. Listening powerfully. The next tip we think that you also ought to be aware of is to let the other person know that you're understanding what they're saying.
How would you do that?
By saying, repeating back to them what they said, using slightly different words perhaps, but letting them, checking out with them to let them know that you've heard what they said.
What I'm hearing you say is, am I getting this right?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, good.
Exactly.
I got it. Good.
And lastly, we want you to be aware of the tone of voice and body language that you're using, because this is not empathic, and yet this is.
Open.
Yes.
Great. Great. That's terrific, Becky. So, you're listening to Moss and Becky, Navigating for Success. If you like what we're saying and you want to hear more about it, give us a call at the number that you see listed. Take our Navigating for Success survey. Find out how you're going through life. You're navigating, surviving, being a victim. And until we see you next time, we wish you well and navigate for success.
Thanks for watching.